so many influencers are dropping the ball, and it's not good.
In action.
Babe, I just said I have a headache. Why would you do that? Goodbye. Can you close the door? I think I'm gonna walk into this one. So you wanna know how to stand out as an influencer. Let's get into it. So I don't know if you know, but some things are changing in the economy, and that trickles down into influencer marketing. And I feel like a lot of people, whenever the economy takes a shift, everyone's like, oh shoot, how's this gonna impact my industry or impact me specifically? And I do believe that influencer marketing is going to see some shifts in 2023. Now, as a content creator, you do have some level of control over how this impacts you. The first thing is your content needs to have some purpose and perspective. That cute stuff, all those aesthetic, like get ready with me's and these things that just really are kind of cute but empty content are not going to cut it. It is like a dime a dozen of those types of content creators. And at this point, that type of content doesn't necessarily have enough substance to build community. Now, if you were on that wave 3 years ago where all of that was the trend and that's still kind of holding your content and that has just become your style, then that's a little bit different. Now at this point, you need to start adding that perspective into your content so that way we get a little bit of both. We're getting the high quality, cute, aesthetic stuff because that's now you, but we're also understanding you more as a creator. So there needs to be some type of perspective, some type of purpose. If you are into fashion, I've used this example multiple times, but like a fashion influencer who is so gung-ho about sustainability, and in your vlogs you share how you've decreased your waste and how you repurpose clothes and how you thrift and how your like sustainability is at the core of your fashion brand. That's so much more marketable than somebody who is just wearing cute stuff and like we never really understand your inner thoughts or the purpose behind your content. So this year, for one, brands, big brands who are paying influencers are putting so much effort into bigger world political, social issues and using that to market because they even want to have a deeper relationship with their direct audiences. And I saw a Domino's commercial the other day, and it was about how they are switching over their delivery cars to EVs, electric vehicles. And the commercial had nothing to do with pizza. It was completely about how they're helping save the environment with this big switch to EVs. So I'm trying to tell y'all, if you can integrate because that's genuine to you, if you can look inside of yourself and find things about you that are differentiators, that make you unique as a person, and include those into your content to create perspective and purpose, then you are on the right track. Second thing is having strong delivery skills. Being good on camera, being able to speak well, being able to formulate complete sentences, having great storytelling skills, and just really being able to drive a point across is extremely important to brands. And they look at not just if you're, I'm not just saying that in the sense of like sitting and talking to the camera and being able to like make 5 points about something, but even in a vlog, how are you able to integrate different products into your vlog content? How do you sell things without selling them, basically? And brands pay attention to your sponsored content and your unsponsored content. Like, what lifestyle are you selling? What result are you selling? What mindset are you selling to the point where you are generating a community? So being confident in your content is a top way to stand out as a content creator. Okay, so let's get into some logistics when it comes to actually having brand deals. Now, I work with a lot of different brands that I love, but I also get a lot of brands wanting to work with me again. And this has to do with a lot of things. So number one is that I read the brief. I make sure that I am well versed on the details of the campaign. You will be surprised at how many content creators don't read the brief. And these brands put a lot of effort, well, most of the time, they put effort into creating creative briefs. And this brief is basically like whatever the campaign is going to be focused on. So if it's a holiday campaign and they're really trying to push like some skincare serum or whatever, and it's all about this 50% off, this anti-aging, blah, 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 that's all going to be outlined in the brief. A lot of times they also have do's and don'ts of things that you can and can't say, or can and can't show, or whatever. And so the parameters are really set out on the brief. Now, if something isn't on the brief, then it's very important to ask those questions up front to mitigate how much back and forth you have with the brand. I have had some deals where we have been going back and forth for months and months, 6 months, 8 months. Like, that's ridiculous. And that doesn't always all fall on the influencer, but the better you can be prepared for these types of deals, like for your brand deals, when you read through the briefs, that takes away a lot of the back and forth just in itself. Number 2 is to have a quick response time. A lot of times these brands are working with tight deadlines. They're looking for you to like hop on it really quickly. And obviously you can charge more if the deadline is just extremely tight. However, having quick email response, whether you are going to accept the deal or not, always shows the brand that you are on top of things and that they can move quickly. And a lot of times that is like the biggest goal. If you're taking a week, 2 weeks to try to craft this perfect response email, then that deal can have been passed on to somebody else. So you want your response time to these brands to be fairly quick, like within a 24 to 48 hour period, and less if you can. And that goes throughout the entire process. That's not just quick email response up front to accept or decline or negotiate. That's the entire way through. If they're asking a question or sending feedback, like being quick on your feet to respond, it makes the process move so much quicker, and it allows them to trust you even more. Another way to stand out is on-time content submission. And y'all, honestly, you would think that this stuff is self-explanatory, but you would be surprised. I have seen so many TikToks, and I've even talked to different brand, like people who work in PR, who manage these types of brand deals, who are like, these creators are so slow to like get their content in, to the point that a lot of brands in your contract, you will see if you are late to submit, they can start deducting pay like up to like 5%, depending on what's in their contract, per day if you are late, because so many influencers are dropping the ball, not caring about deadlines, and it's not good. So when you do stuff like that, you are opening up the door for other influencers to swoop on in and take your little spot. So that is something that we are very adamant about. Me and my management is like making sure we are quick to respond. We are just very diligent. We go over and above with the content, like making sure that it is good quality content, that I'm really thinking about how we're going to integrate this to make it feel just as natural and organic as possible. And brands really, really appreciate that. So submitting your content on time, it sounds like a no-brainer, but it is one of those things that can get you kicked out of your spot if they have another campaign coming around, and if you were late, that pushes you down further into the list. Overall, brands are looking for communities that make sense as sub-communities within their community. So if they feel like your community that you've built makes sense to now be a part of their community, then they are going to want to work with you. But if you are just creating random content that has no greater purpose, no real perspective, then brands, it's going to be hard for them to see how they fit into your content, how your audience fits into their overall goals. So this is not to say that you have to find a specific niche. This is to say that you need to understand what the foundation of your content is. If you are somebody who wants to attract brands, you need to have a community that makes sense for brands to actually want to have as a part of their own community. And on the flip side, when it comes to the actual logistics of it, you have to be able to deliver the content on time, be able to ask great questions, be able to respond promptly to emails, and be able to make really good content that the brands are able to take pride in, and if they want to use it in their ways, if that's in the contract, then they feel like, oh my gosh, this content is so solid. Like, I can't wait to put some paid ads behind this because Erin just always delivers. Make sure it's in the contract though, that they're able to do that. But I'm just saying, like, making your content so good, but also having that business to back it up in terms of your ability to handle what you got, you in for the win, okay? In the comments, let me know, what is the purpose or the perspective that you are bringing to your community that would be attractive to brands? I wanna know, because if you can't say it, then that means it might not be there. And that means we have some work to do, okay? I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Gotta go enormous. Can I live one time and get mine? Let me put it on spokes. Let me make one for